everybody. Welcome to Renegade Ventures podcast. I'm Maggie Harlow, and my co-host is Ellie Puckett. Ellie, what's on your mind? You got any news for us?
No, I mean, the business has been going really good and life has been wild and good and full. Um, but I know that you have some. I mean, we've been just turning away at Resonate as a business, but you are on this completely new journey that we've been kind of updating and keeping our listeners up to date on. So tell us, how's the speaking biz going, and do you have any announcements?
It's been good. I've recently recruited a masterminds group of speakers I'm a part of to kind of help me learn from other speakers. And I've had a few bookings into 2026 that I'm excited about. But the thing I'm most jazzed right now, and the thing that's really kind of chasing me every day, wake up running, this thing's chasing me, is getting my book finished. I don't even have my title yet. I'm still trying to wrestle that out, but it's a book about courage. And the thing I'm really jazzed about is I decided to add illustrations to it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Each chapter, I'm going to have a little illustration, kind of just like nothing fancy. It's just very black and white, but I got a digital software to let me draw on. So it's the first time I've ever done digital drawing and illustration.
I'm so excited for you though, because you've always wanted to get to use your art degree more.
I'm
And you
very
get to,
excited. I'm
that's
very
amazing.
excited. Yeah, so I'm really excited, and it kind of just really makes the book feel more like mine. Like I'm doing these little drawings, my husband watching over my shoulder and kind of like, oh yeah, you should think about this. Like he's good at kind of giving me ideas. I really hope to have it done and to the publisher maybe early January and self-publishing. And so by the time this pod's out, hopefully it's tucked in in bed. We'll see.
That's amazing. I have one question as an update. So what was it like getting some of the first paid speaking engagements? Because I think both of us have been on that journey from doing a lot of, for free speaking. We did an engagement together this week and we love doing it for the community, but changing from I'm a community resource to I do this professionally for money. How's that been?
It's been interesting. I'm learning how to have the conversations. I'm comfortable asking people for money, so that's good. But it still is a funny space. Just like you said, I've done so much for free. It's a funny space to find myself in where I'm starting to have those conversations. And it's it's not I'm not done. It's not like, oh yeah, it's all working. It's like this baby steps, and it's you can get impatient, right? Anything you're working on that you want to see happen, you're like, come on. But it's learning to just let it happen as it happens. But it's been fun to start the conversations with people and say, I'm a paid speaker, and just see where it goes.
I think it is a pretty good transition into our conversation today. We have a guest today, Kristina Pohl, who made a transition in her career and took a leap from traditional nursing into launching your own wellness practice. And so not only did that take courage, like Maggie is now speaking about, but also the journey from one kind of model into another and into entrepreneurship. So thank you for being here with us today, Kristina. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
I was looking at, I'm not familiar with your business. And so first thing I did when I got the information about you is look you up, and Eternity Wellness is absolutely impressive online. Like now I'm like, I got to see it. Now I'm like, I got to go see it. So congratulations. So tell us a little bit about this transition, this brave transition you made.
From childhood, I knew that I really wanted to be working in a way that I could help my community be healthy. I was surrounded by a lot of people with chronic illness, and I saw firsthand how it could essentially bankrupt families if you did have a chronic illness. So I had this passion to help people. Went to college, became a nurse, got my first job in the neonatal ICU of all places. but learned a lot there. I was a bedside RN for 8 years. And I was like, okay, I think it's really time for me to go back to school, pursue my master's. So I went back to school, I graduated, and then, in the current medical model, you go to medical school, you go to nurse practitioner school, and they teach you how to diagnose and prescribe. That's pretty much what you learn. In school, I quickly realized, like, oh my gosh, did I make a huge mistake here? Um, how am I actually going to help people? But you've invested a lot of energy and money, and I need this degree because it's going to give me some power to do what I truly want to do. So I did the thing. I got through school. I took a job to get experience. So I was like, okay, I got to do this 4 years. I got to just take whatever job I can get, learn what I can. Fast forward, I have a family at this point. I have my second child, and he's a few weeks old. And I call HR, and I'm still working for this company. And I'm like, hey, can I just have a couple more weeks? Like, second kid. I thought it was going to be like, just add another one into the mix. I'll be back in 6 weeks, but can I get like 2 more weeks? And they were like, actually, I don't think we need you to come back. I was like, okay. Um,
Wow.
um,
Thanks for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much, because January of that year, I started building my own website, and I filed my LLC. And when they let me go, it was like June of 2015. So I already had this baby I was working on, this other baby. Um, but I just didn't have, I don't know. It's like I didn't have the guts. It's like I didn't give myself permission
But then you
True.
got the
to
kick in the
dump.
pants that says,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about launching business, I think a lot of us, when we think about starting a business, we don't think, how about a moment of crisis? How about a time when I'm already overwhelmed by the day to day? That's a perfect time to start a business. But honestly, sometimes that is the best time.
that was true for my story as well. Like that is a major part of my story, was being laid off while pregnant with my second son. There is no such thing as security. This thing that's supposed to be secure, these laws that are in theory supposed to some have minimum amount of protection. In my case, I was at a small business, so
Yeah.
not. But if you were in healthcare, it was probably a big business. You probably had FMLA protections, and it still didn't matter. And the only way you can move forward is by taking control of your own destiny. And so that's what it sounds like you did.
So in that moment, I was like, okay, obviously this is a sign I need to try. This is October, now in 2019. I've got a website, and I I have a space. My husband had a practice, and there was a single room suite available. Um, and I was like, let's do it. So just me, one woman show, single room suite. I had, $5,000 of my own money to start, no loans, no investors, just a lot of determination and just a lot of passion for what I wanted to see happen in our community. Yeah, that first year was just pure entrepreneurship. I didn't know I had it in me. I don't know where it came from. It was entrepreneurship in its rawest form. It was me learning everything from scratch. Everything while the kids were asleep at night, researching and selecting all of my vendors on my own, trying to network in the community, trying to find other business owners who were doing what I was doing, other provider owned practices, because, I went to nursing school. I didn't go to business school. So I had a lot to learn, and I still do. Um, And so that's what I did. And I wasn't seeing a lot of patients in that early first few months. But in the quiet, I was like, I know there's potential here. I know this is scalable. If I could just get the information to the right ears, then the people will come flooding in. I guess been the biggest challenge is marketing myself to make sure that people know that I exist and what we offer. And once people find out, they tell their friends. And the snowball has been snowballing for 6 years now. And our team has grown by 6. So we're still a small team, but we have a really big impact on the health of the people who trust us to be a part of their care team.
What was the first version of Eternity Wellness, and was it called that? And then what is Eternity Wellness today? Because it sounds like you started with providing patients, and it's so much more now. So bring us through that journey of what was the first version and what is it today?
So it started as Eternity Rejuvenation, but turns out no one can spell that word. And that's really important if you want to be found on the internet or if someone's writing a check, quickly rebranded Eternity Wellness. And we've been that since 2020. And so when it was just me in a single room suite, now remember, this is October of 2019, and a lot changed in just a few months. So I looked to bigger cities to help build my business plan. And I was like, what are these bigger cities doing that Louisville's not doing? Like, where's the gap in wellness and in integrative care? And so the thing that caught my eye was IV hydration. Like, okay, I believe in this. I've had that. It helps me. Let's do some continuing ed on that. Let's figure out what that looks like. It's pretty safe. I can save people a lot of money. Like, they can go to the ER and they can get $1,000 IV, or they can come to me and I can keep them out of that system and they can get, one for under $200. So I thought, I'm going to just have a little IV lounge in here, but I'm going to also need to have something to pay the bills. And what pays the bills? Botox pays the bills. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to do aesthetic injectables because I do have this artistic side of me, and there's something just so fun and exciting about helping people feel good in their skin and in what I call their human suit. So I was like, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to put my own spin on it. And, the skin is the biggest organ in the body. And so it tells a lot about your internal health. And I feel like there is going to be this crossroads and this opportunity for me to start to tell people how to heal themselves from the inside. So I'm like, let's do aesthetics with a side of IV hydration lounge and see where this goes. I'm going to open a community-centered wellness business, okay? And then the pandemic happens, and the idea of people healing in a community atmosphere quickly changed. It was like, oh, okay, pivot. How am I going to pivot this? Well, I did shut down for a month. And again, was like, this is my opportunity to really focus on empowering people to be the healthiest versions of themselves. And suddenly the world was ready for that message. And I was in a single room suite, and the etiquette in my tiny practice was wait in your car and I'll text you when it's ready. And then that became the norm everywhere. And I was like, oh, this is cool. No one thinks this is weird anymore. You're doing it everywhere. You're in your car, just texting me when you're there. Like, they didn't know I didn't have a waiting room. Gosh, I didn't even have a bathroom. was like, I just hope these people don't have to go to the bathroom when they're here. If they did, they had to walk through my husband's law practice. And it was weird, but only for a few. And bless those patients who were there with me from the start. I love them if they're
That's
listening.
awesome.
That really opened the door for me to start to offer um, the integrative wellness tools that I had, and I was waiting for people to ask me, like, how do I wean off of this medicine? How do I address this particular medical concern naturally? I go to my doctor and they look at my labs and they say everything's normal, but I don't feel right. Something's off. So I started to see those patients and take longer than 15 to 20 minutes with those patients. And then we started to do integrative blood testing that they didn't know existed. And we would just get to the root cause of the issues. And they would ask, what's the best way to support my immune system during COVID or, during the season when everyone's sick? And I would give them protocols for that. So slowly, that part of the business really started to snowball as well. And once the world opened up after COVID, I moved into my current space. And now I have a much larger IV lounge, and we're able to build that community for community-centered healing. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you have gone from what you're talking about being, doing Botox and IV and waiting for the opportunities to build out the integrative practice into something that offers a lot of services. I mean, everything from ear cleaning to cannabis cards to infrared sauna to compression boots and everything in between, right? There's so many different services that someone can provide, you're providing. But I think that's the concept of integrative wellness for people. And I was first introduced to integrative wellness around that same time, dealing with some things, getting feeling very sick and being told I'm completely healthy. And it was like, I am not. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not. And it was just this merry-go-round. And at the time, I had to seek help outside of the city of Louisville, Kentucky. There was a few things, but you were not here yet. And so I'm so excited to hear that we have some more of these services and integrativeness available in this community. What has your entrepreneurial journey, though, been like? I mean, our community is made up of many types of people who are practitioners. We think about, there's this famous book called The E-Myth, where the plumber owns the plumbing business and then has to learn to be an entrepreneur. You were a nurse that now owns an integrative practice. What does that entrepreneurial journey look like for you?
For the first couple years before I moved into my current space, it was me watching YouTube video after YouTube video of how to run QuickBooks, how to, get your SEO presence, just all of this stuff. And I tried my best to really take a deep dive into all of the areas that I knew I needed to master before I scaled. And so I quickly realized, though, I'm not going to scale without burnout unless I start to delegate a lot of these tasks. So a turning point for Eternity Wellness was when I started to hire and delegate, especially to financial professionals, because that was an area where, I can safely say I was illiterate. That was not something that I grew up having a literacy around. Financial literacy was definitely one of my weaknesses. So year 3 I gave myself permission to bring in professionals, bookkeepers, a trusted banker, financial advisors, and that decision changed everything. Suddenly, I had accurate numbers and predictable systems, and someone who could explain things without judgment. And I wasn't reacting anymore. I was planning ahead, and I went from guessing to understanding. So, I mean, I can't. And that's the one thing that I tell anyone who starts a business. It's like you just have to be able to hire some of this stuff out. You can't do everything. You understand it, but you just can't do everything.
I think that is a great lesson. And also, what I hear in that story is how you didn't know how to do a lot of these things. You got started big. People dream of owning a business and they think, well, I don't know how to do these things. I haven't gone to business school. I haven't taken accounting classes. But there are so many tools now. So there's YouTube videos alone. I mean, it's just an incredible books and resources and professional help. You're right. The delegating is absolutely critical to figuring out what's going to help my business grow. What do I want to be as an owner? And I want to grow my business. And what do I spend my time doing that I don't need to spend my time doing? So I think you really hit on the magic that helps a business grow as someone who has that mindset. So moving from the being the nurse and giving the treatments to being the CEO, what were some of the rough patches for you in learning how to not be the person doing the actual treatments?
Honestly, managing people and finding the right people to deliver the kind of care that my patients had grown accustomed to when it was just me. And that, I think, is why we're growing at the pace we're growing. It's because I'm trying to be very intentional about each person that comes onto our team. I really want to make sure that not only are they an expert in their field, but are they able to deliver compassionate care and um, and provide care in a way that aligns with our mission. Managing people has been difficult, but I've been so fortunate to have found the people that I have found that are on my team, because without them, we just wouldn't be where we are today. And my first hire came because a friend was like, I know exactly who you need to hire. I've got the person. I'm going to set up a lunch for you. I was like, I need a front desk person. I need someone who is caring and just calm and, no drama. And I'm going to spend all day, every day at work with this person. We have got to get along, and they have to understand the mission. And they have to be excited about helping me grow something from the ground up. And so, with my first hire, it was like dream team. I mean, he's incredible. He's still with me. And he's a part of the everyday, and people call and they're like, Tyler, is that you? The patients know him by name and love him. And if he's not there, people ask where he is. And so that was really great to have, someone besides just me be the face, because this really isn't about me. This is about the care that we can provide the community. So I've been careful about not plastering my face all over the place, because it is about the care. And I want people to know that regardless if it's me delivering the care, or if it's someone else in the practice, they're on the same page. We're all on your team. So with my first hire, I was like, oh, this will be so easy. Like, I've got this excellent human who I spend every day with. It's like a match made in heaven. Let's bring on another. And it was just a little more difficult to find the next right person.
That is always hard. I mean, I think Maggie and I have experienced that as well. the finding the right people when you haven't found the right person, going through letting go the wrong person and the emotional battle that it takes and the toll it takes, that, understanding how to interview well or see those flags or not, it's something that I'm experiencing every single day, always, right? Like the bigger you get, every single time you go to hire a new person, it feels a little bit like shooting in the dark again, even if you've gotten better at it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you're small, it's so important. Every single person plays such a vital role that it can mess with the culture. It can also mess with the end product because everyone has to be specialized and a jack of all trades because you're just too small for anyone to not pull their weight.
Right.
It's hard to hide in a small business, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We have since found an incredible nurse practitioner who's joined our team, and she has just passed her certification exam for the Menopause Society. So she's offering highly specialized hormone care and gender-affirming care here. She also works at Planned Parenthood and has been there for, I think, close to 10 years now. I'm really excited about the team that we're building. It's just, it takes time to find the right person to fit in this sort of role. And I'm more than happy to wait for the right person because like you said, they do have to, be a jack of all trades. And each person in this business physically touches every patient that walks through the door.
It's a lot of impact.
Yeah. Yeah. No one can hide here. So,
So
yeah,
how
that's
did you land
challenging.
on what services that you all have decided to provide and which ones that you haven't? Has it been led by the opportunities? I know there's some intentional choices early on, but talking about being able to provide menopause care and then gender affirming care, I mean, I think of these two things is extremely necessary and underprovided. Was that intentional? And have you seen that opportunity like grow forth, or is it still too new to tell? But it feels like something that on the menopause side, women are desperate for support in that transition, for that hormonal support, and very underserved. And I have only heard that as well from my LGBTQ friends who need gender affirming care. It feels like these two things are under supported. So was that a conscious decision?
Absolutely. I really love to find gaps in healthcare and bridge those gaps for those people. Um, I just listened to what is being discussed in my friend circles and in longevity podcasts and with all the health and wellness folks that are out there. And so I try to bring this cutting edge, new way of caring for people into this town, because historically, to have a specialist, you have to go to a little bigger city, and to find a lot of the types of care that we provide, you either getting it online, or you're traveling for it. We're trying to be really intentional about building our menu based on what the people want and need. And our menu changes officially once a year and unofficially, um, probably quarterly. We've had things on the menu that were not popular, that just didn't make sense anymore, that weren't profitable. And so we've eliminated it. Um, and then we have people coming in and say, "Well, do you offer peptides? Do you offer GLP-1 peptides?" That was the last 2 years. And I was of the opinion that I was not going to prescribe those medications just because I like to have a little bit more natural approach to things. But the people spoke. And I saw people getting medications in a way that didn't feel safe to me. And I saw my patients doing things out of desperation. And I was like, you know what? I at least have to build a safe container for my patients to get this in a safe way and to be monitored. So some things get put on our menu of services that I just see a need for. I didn't, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I would have put the words medical weight loss on my website, it would have been like, absolutely not. I'm going to say body composition, recomposition, but that's what people want.
Yeah. And if that's the on-ramp, right? Like
Yeah.
if you have to meet people where they're at, and oftentimes that is the small business owner's job, or even to make their business successful, it's not that you set aside values. You meet people where they're at so you can move them towards that place of integration and wellness. But you have to provide a pathway. And so finding the pathway that worked is probably really important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. That's a really good way to put that. And I feel the same way about aesthetics. That's oftentimes a pathway into wellness. So I still find that clients come to me for, maybe a year, and they're coming and getting their microneedling facials, or they're just a hydrofacial. And I do all the aesthetics because that's fun to me. And I get to connect with people. We've all been to a hair salon, and you just know that things come out when you're in that chair. People just spill. So, I'll have people come in for facials, and they'll drop that, gosh, I haven't slept in years. Like, oh, okay. Or, my anxiety is through the roof. What can I do? Um, I know that you have these vitamin shots over here. Should I try one? So it does. You just meet people where they are, and if where they are is a hydrofacial, that's fine. If that's all they ever want to do with me, that's fine. But sometimes it leads to bigger things.
Oh, yeah. People find a trusted advisor, someplace they're comfortable. So true in every business. They want to
Yeah.
see what else that can be done. Well, you've had an interesting journey into entrepreneurship. Do you have advice for anyone who might be looking at that precipice and thinking about, do I want to do this? Am I ready? What advice would you give to them?
I can speak from an owner operator standpoint here. And I do have a lot of people who come to me and ask advice for starting practices. And what I say is, well, how soon do you want to pay yourself? Like, how important is that? Do you want to wait? Can you wait 6 months? Can you wait a year? And I think most people are like, wait, like, I'm going to be making money immediately, right? I'm like, oh, actually, you're going to be investing a lot for a long time into your business. Like, you're going to have to spend money to make money. And so if you're starting from scratch and you don't have the luxury of walking into a 2,000, patient load practice, then I would say, really evaluate your finances and make sure that you're ready for this. And if they can do that and take some time and reinvest in the company, and you can get your name out there and get enough people in the door, make sure to invest in ways to advertise, because you can have a great product, but if no one knows that you exist, what do you do?
So what does your vision for the future look like? You've built it to this point. What is your biggest and highest vision for Eternity Wellness?
I would like to continue to one by one bring on experts. We have 6 pillars of wellness that I like to use in my own day-to-day practices. But one of them is therapeutic movement. Behind me is our community room, and this is something we acquired last year. We expanded, and so we started offering some yoga and some Pilates. And I would really like to expand the classes that are available for the people who are members here. And they look a little different than other fitness classes. They're very approachable, beginner level, simply to maintain mobility. Mental health is another pillar. And so I would love to have more collaboration with mental health practitioners in our space, beneficial breathing as well. So breath work facilitators.
So you're really looking to like expand this, continue to expand the service offerings that you offer to our community.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's amazing.
Sounds awesome.
I have big dreams for the future of Eternity Wellness for sure.
Well, I think you've got what it takes. You've got the right attitude, and sounds like you know your customers well, and you'll find the products, more and more products that they need and want. That's awesome.
Kristina, thank you so much for coming on. How would our listeners find you and Eternity Wellness if they want to learn more about your business and integrative health?
Yeah, you can visit eternitywellnesscenter.com, or you can call us and Tyler will answer the phone at 502-444-8100, or just pop in during our business hours. We have a storefront and we sell supplements and skincare, and we would love to give you a tour of the space.
Thank you so much. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.